Kishu Krishna, Kishu Kuket, Kishu Quiet, Kapinishkish. Welcome back, everyone, to another wonderful Warrior Wednesdays. I'm your host, Kensuke Tashmiet, and this week, I want to try something totally different, just something new that I've never done before. I've done before, like on lives, but I've actually never done before while doing a podcast. And if you want to check out my new dance stick that I got, boom! I've been waiting for this stick for a few years now. I got it from a friend that I know. I bought a stick off of him, I think, in 2018. It was a flash sale stick he had on Facebook. It was kind of right around when I first started dancing. And actually on the way, when it was shipped out, I received it and it was broken. So he got the insurance back and he ended up taking the money back, and then it just never worked out that we had a, never got the stick, and I wasn't pressuring him. I knew it would come around one day when it was right. I've been a big believer in everything happens for the right reason, right? Everything has its timing. And I had this claw, and I've had this claw sitting around for a couple years now. Right around the pandemic. Before the pandemic, I think actually right during the pandemic, I got this eagle claw. And it was gifted to me by a lady who's no longer with us. I was helping her son out, get an outfit ready together. So I had this claw sitting around, and I wanted to get a new dance stick. And then I messaged my friend and I said, hey, would you actually be able to do up a stick for me so I could put my eagle claw on it? And he got back to me, and he kind of told me some events that had happened in his life, and he just recently went out and shared it. But he had a stroke, I guess, a few months ago, and he hasn't really told very many people, but he's kind of came out with it now. And he video messaged me. He's like, hey, can I call you? And then he was kind of speaking to me, but he was having he was trying to, his mobile function on his one side of his body is not there, so he was having troubles kind of speaking, but he was speaking to me and he was telling me about it. And he had another friend help him set up his carving station in his garage, and he's been carving. He's trying to get back to it. He's trying to work through his situation to get back, mobile. So he reached out to me and said, hey, I finished that stick. And this is the first thing he has done since, I believe it's the first thing he has done since he has had his stroke. So now I feel really honored to have this and dance with this. And it's really, I love it. Like, this thing is really light. And this curve thing, it fits really well in my hand. And even at the end here, it's nice. It's like it's carved right for my hand, like my thumb indent and everything. So I want to take some time and craft on my podcast. And I'm going to just put this up. I'm going to lean this over here. So actually, I want to show you what I'm going to do. So I got some hawk feathers I want to put on this. I want to kind of change up my feathers. So I'm thinking I might do this tail. I have this tail. And this tail I might want to use, but I'm not sure. I kind of feel like this, my gut is telling me this one, but this one's nice too. I'm going to go with my gut. Or I have this one, but I think I'm going to use this for another set somewhere else. And yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So today I kind of want to just hang out and chill out. And I want to fix up some feathers. I'm just going to leave my stick up over here out of the way, so it's not in my way right now, so I can craft, so I can get at it. So yeah, this podcast is going to be a lot different than what I'm normally doing, right? So usually we'll just sit here and talk and hang out and you listen. But I'm going to talk and hang out and I'm going to craft. I'm going to do 2 birds with 1 stone. Funny, hey, because I'm working on bird feathers. Dad jokes, hey. Boom. It's actually 12 feathers, 1 stick. That's what this podcast is going to be named. Just kidding. But yeah, I want to show you kind of how I do it. How I do my feathers up. So let's get crafting. And this week, I kind of want to talk about that resilience and not giving up, and like using Devan's life as an example for not giving up on your life, right? He has a wonderful wife, a loving family. He has 2 amazing children. I had a chance at staying at his house in 2019, and I stayed at his house during the Rocky Boy powwow. And he just had a lot of hospitality, and he was very opening and very inviting to his place. So I just thought maybe it'd be some good medicine to just talk on my podcast and work on some feathers that I'm going to be dancing with on my new stick this weekend. So I usually, as I told you before, I usually will record and edit on Saturdays. But this Saturday I'm going to actually be out of town. I'm actually going to be in Seattle for a powwow. So I'll be vlogging that. And I was going to initially just take the week off and not podcast. But I was like, you know what? I'm sure there's a way we could work this out and we can get it done. And I can talk and just hang out with all you. But yeah, this week has been a little emotional for myself as well. Many of you who have listened to my talks before, I didn't know much info about my grandma before on my dad's side, and I thought of reaching out to someone who's like pretty much a cousin of mine. She's on chief and council of my band where my dad's from, and her dad used to be Nisukin chief for many years, and her dad is a lot older and he has a lot of stories and he knows a lot of things, right? So I asked her, because I don't believe he's on social media, I asked her if she could ask her dad, if he knew who my grandma was, who my dad's mom was. And turns out he does. He knew who she was. He knew her name. So I found her name. Then I tied her to some other elders that I knew in the community. I asked them some more stories, and they knew some more stories, and they actually told me my whole family line. Like, well, not my whole family line, but pretty far down. And I guess my great grandpa, my great grandpa, who is Tunacha as well. He, I guess, was chief for many years in our community. And I thought that was kind of, interesting to hear that and learn that, and to figure out who more of my family is from. And she didn't know where my grandma was registered in, but my grandma is Tunacha as well, and I believe she comes from the American side. So I got in touch with one of the bands down there, one of the tribes, and they said that last name is like pretty normal in that community where she's from. The lady who did enrollment wasn't in, so she was gonna give me a shout back later on, probably next week, possibly, or Friday. She was gonna talk to her grandma as well, because her grandma knew a lot of the lineage and the people and things like that. So she said she would try to reach out to me Friday about it all. And I was kind of got emotional because I was chatting with Brooke, and I thought, wouldn't that be really neat if my grandma was still alive? She was still out there. And I was thinking, that would be so cool if she was out there. And but it turns out, yeah, she had passed. She had passed a while ago, so she's no longer with us. And that kind of made me upset, that I never got a chance to meet her. In this world, anyways. We have our beliefs as to knock up people. We go to the place called the Happy Hunting Grounds. So one day I will be able to meet her, but in this time, in this life, I was never physically able to meet her. And it made me upset. And there was like a lot of other people that she had named off. And they're no longer with us either. Like everyone she named off, they were she's like, yeah, none of them are no longer with us. And that made me upset. And I allowed myself to be upset because for many years I blocked my emotions off, right? And then I was thinking to myself, what's interesting now, Peter? You now know who to pray to. Now I know a name for someone I can pray to when I'm looking for guidance. And that's where my mind went on that. I didn't. I allowed myself to feel that pain and reflect and feel upset. But I also allowed myself to look for that positive outcome in that. So that's, that just goes to show that, everything happens for the right reasons. Now I know someone who I can pray to when I need prayers, So you see me cutting these things. I'm cutting strips. I'm cutting strips of leather. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over here onto the feather like this. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see. And then I'm going to put this swivel in there. So that swivel is going to sit in there, and then it's going to hold these feathers in place. I may have actually cut these a little too long, so I'm going to have to cut them shorter and a little thinner. But at least I know a name now. And as much as I wanted her to be alive, it's a part of our history, right? As Indigenous people, and what the things we've suffered, things that are normal to us shouldn't be normal to anyone, honestly. But it is. A lot of these things are normal to Indigenous people. These things that have happened, right? And yeah. So it was a little bit of an emotional day there. Of course, I was at work too, but I'm also doing an Indigenous course as well. It's called Indigenous Canada from University of Alberta, and it's a requirement at our work that we take it. Even though I know a lot of the stuff that's being taught, and I'm actually personally right now physically experiencing those effects of colonialism. It just it's all kind of a harder day at work that one day. And this all happened on last Wednesday. Ironic, hey, Warrior Wednesday. Gonna happen to me on Wednesday. So, yeah. At least I got a name now. And my grandma's name, for if you're curious, her name was Irene. Irene was her name. Irene Ignatius, I believe it was her last name. She married an Isidore before she met my grandpa. And then she remarried, I guess, after, her first husband passed away, who was an Isidore. And then she remarried my grandpa. Stan White was his name. So I thought that was, cool that I learned their names. Yeah, but it was an emotional couple days. But I'm doing better now. I'm feeling good. Gonna put some good energy into these feathers. And I think I might have to cut this more at an angle now. I forgot all about that when I bought these swivels. Usually I'll buy the bigger ended ones so they can fit through the leather, but I wasn't thinking this time. It's been a while since I've done up some feathers. I don't have any swivels left. I used them all up. So I stopped by Canadian Tire the other day and I grabbed some. So I gotta cut it on an angle for you people on YouTube that are looking. If you're on the podcast, just hanging out on one of the apps, if you can, just jump over to YouTube. Check it out on YouTube. YouTube helps as well. But yeah, so I just fish it in there. Then I'm gonna pull it through. Get it centered up. Boom. Then we're gonna make sure it's centered. And we're gonna do that to all of them right now. And then I'll get to the sticky part after, where I use my glue and all that fun stuff. So, yeah. Hope you're all having a wonderful week as well. This podcast might go a little longer than normal than when I usually record it. Usually I've been doing about 20 minutes, but I thought maybe, hey, let's hang out a little bit, chill out. Just hang out as a community, as a Wealthy Warrior community. Got my incense, or not my incense, but my diffuser going on in the background right now, so you might hear that. Kind of hear that little bit of water noise. It's my diffuser. It smells really good. I got some new scents. I wanted to make my room smell like it. And it's weird because it's like, when I first got it, I was like, it smells good. And I couldn't put my finger on it quite what it was. And then I figured out the other day what it was. It smells like baby powder. I was like, as I was saying, it smells clean. It's like, it smells like, something, when something smells clean. And that makes sense, right? Because usually you put baby powder on a baby after you bath them or bathe them, clean them off. And they're all clean. And then you put baby oil on them and you put baby powder. I believe, yeah. Remember, I don't have kids yet. So if I'm doing that wrong, let me know. Just kidding. I'm not a father yet. One day, soon, one day I will. And I'm working on that. I'm working on my trauma. I'm working on all that stuff so I can be the best version of myself for my kids. I know my kids are going to be born with that trauma in them, right? It's just in our genes, it's in our genetics, but they will also have some of those genes healed. So it's just the part of the way it is, right? But I'm going to be there for my kids, and it's sad that they're not going to be able to meet their grandfather at least, and their great grandma and great grandfather on my dad's side. On my mom's side, though, they might be able to meet my great grandma. They might be able to meet my great great grandma, or their great grandma, maybe their great great grandma. But only time will tell with that one, right? Because my grandma on my mom's side also isn't doing that well as well. And that's just the effects of colonialism. She went to boarding school down in the States as well, so she didn't have the best of childhood. She had a hard childhood. She did the best she could, though, with what she was given. Yeah. So that's what happened there. So right now I'm just stringing all these through my swivels. Got 12 of them I gotta do up. And just crafting. What's one thing, put in the comments if you're on YouTube, what's one thing that you did this week so far that made you grow? Actually, let's see, put in the comments if you did that last week's challenge and started to take care of your brain health some more, take that more serious. Because that's what I'm doing right now, because I'm after work. If I sit there and I craft and then I record my podcast after, I'll be up a lot later than normal. But if I sit here and craft and I do my podcast, and I'm doing both at once, right? So I'm actually taking care of my mental health. We're also just chilling. Sometimes I want to chill. I drink my Zevia. Zevia is like a non-sugar soda drink, and it's flavored by stevia. So sometimes when I craft, I like to drink that. I already drink all my water for the day, but every other once in a while, as you know from my YouTube or my powwow vlogs, I enjoy my Zevia. It's a really healthy alternative drink if you crave something carbonated. I do drink Perrier as well. Man, it's funny, as a kid I hated carbonated water with a passion. It was just so gross because there was no sugar in it. And as a kid, you love sugar, right? That's why you love ketchup. Because if you read the ingredients on ketchup, you're going to be surprised on actually how much sugar is in ketchup. It's mind-boggling, the numbers on what refined sugars, because there are natural sugars. Let's redefine that. Let's be specific on what we're talking about. Refined sugars. There's a lot of refined sugars in there. It's crazy. Yeah. Pretty sure there's more than a tablespoon within so much serving of ketchup. So, if you're someone who loves ketchup and you're trying to get in healthy shape and you're trying to take care of your mental health, your brain health, maybe it's time you cut back on the ketchup or find alternatives. They aren't the same. I know sugar-free ketchup is not the same, but hey, look at the Zevia. Look at me and Zevia. There's actually, when I first started, I went keto for a little while, and it was actually what actually got me to be able to drink stevia. Because when I first tried stevia, I did not like it. It was just so sweet. I did not like stevia at all. But now I love stevia, and so I seen these Zevia drinks, and started drinking them once in a while. And they're actually the ones that that's what actually helped me be able to stand the taste of stevia and love stevia. I drink that in my coffee all the time. I don't have refined sugars in my coffee. Right now, my first coffee in the morning is a little bit of stevia, some pink Himalayan salt, and cinnamon. So I basically have black coffee. No almond milk, nothing in it. That's because I go to the gym and I'll work out fasted now, because it's time to start cutting my weight down and getting ready for powwow season. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. So now we got these all strung up, and now we're gonna get to the sticky part. And that sticky part is this Gorilla Glue. So what we do is we grab that. I don't like doing it on there fully, so I'm gonna put it on this other hide leather, because it'll get my desk. If I put it on my desk, the Gorilla Glue, it gets sticky, because sometimes it'll like come off of it a bit. So I'll just dab a little bit on that side and that side, and yeah, we just dab a little bit of glue. The glue just helps it stick to it. I'll also use sinew after on it, but this just helps to stick it on there, and I'll use sinew to wrap it after. But yeah, this is the way I was taught by someone many moons ago. Like I just said, I just dab it on here, just a little bit, not a lot of it, just a little bit, just enough to stick the feather to the leather, the feather to the leather. Stick the feather to the leather. Need to make that tighter, and I didn't put enough on, so maybe I need to put a little bit more than when I put on that. I didn't put enough apparently, but I don't like getting stuck to my finger either. Sometimes that'll happen. You get the glue stuck on your finger just like that. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see that. Oh, sorry about that. Hitting the mic. It's gonna happen here when we're crafting. Crafty. Yeah, I was trying to think of crafty and Wednesday, but can't think of anything. So this is all we do. Just dab it on there. Make sure it doesn't dry up quick enough. So make sure it's sticky enough. And we just grab the feather, pull all the fluff down off of it, and then we get ready. And we just clip it on. And we do that, and keep doing that, and doing that, and doing that, and doing that. And once those are all done, once I get back to the first one, it'll be all dry. And then I'll grab the sinew and I'll just wrap the sinew around that, so the sinew will hold it in place. Like I said, the glue is just like temporary. It's not like it's gonna hold the feather 100%, but it's going to stick the leather to the feather. So we can work with it. And Gorilla Glue sticks fast. I don't know if you ever used Gorilla Glue before. Yeah, it sticks fast. Like it's good. I don't know, even like Gorilla Glue came out not too long ago. I used to remember Crazy Glue, and yeah. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this brand Gorilla Glue came out, and they got some really good products, especially for crafting. Really like this Gorilla Glue for crafting. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. So we just mold it, same thing, over and over and over and over and over. Oh, this is the center feather. Center feather of the hawk feathers. I just gotta make some room up here for my task later on. Yeah. So I'm hoping you're pushing on with your life, pushing on, if things are happening in your life right now, just remember everything happens for the right reasons. Blessings, Creator always blesses us in the right times, right? When we're meant to. Just got to keep pushing on and persevering, and everything plays out the way it's supposed to in the end, right? That's why I was never in a rush to get that dance stick, and now I feel even more honored now, knowing that he is working on himself and trying to get better, and he thought of sitting down and crafting my stick. So I did share on my Instagram story the other day of they're having a GoFundMe right now for Devan for just his recovery from his stroke. I will put it up in the link in the description. So if you're curious about that, because I know some people might be curious about wanting to support Devan and his family, go check out his GoFundMe link. And he's another content creator as well. He's honestly one of my favorite traditional dancers. He's one of my idols. Sometimes they say don't meet your idols, but I'm glad I met Devan. There was some things that kind of happened with him in the community not too long ago, but we all make mistakes. We all grow, right? We all learn. Life is about learning and growing, and we all deserve a second chance, right? We all deserve more than a second chance. We're human beings, right? We're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. As I was talking about that cancel culture, sometimes it's a scary thing, right? Sometimes it's not a healthy thing. We get into our emotions a little too much. I've been there, trust me, I've been there. Like, I'm not saying I'm not innocent, and I'm not saying that I'm not pure, because I know I'm not. I'm far from it, because I'm human. I'm pitiful. Gonna make mistakes until I leave this earth. Just the way life is, right? And if you can realize that, and just live life through creators, your creator, God, Allah, the universe, whoever you believe in, just if you live your life through their message, you'll always be taken care of. You will always be provided for. And sometimes, it might not be a massive fancy yacht or, the things you think you need in life. Creator knows what you need in life. You'll pray for, like I posted not too long ago, you pray, you plan, Creator laughs. Because pick a The Pika has a plan for all of us, right? And that plan will play out when it's meant to. So if it's not happening right now in this instant in your life and what you want, maybe you're not ready for it. Maybe something else is meant for you, right? Maybe something bigger. Maybe you can't plan that big thing that the Pika has for you. You know, I did that story time like years ago on perspective of getting things too early. Remember I talked about the kid and how the baby was given the keys. So, you know, I think the father has a kid, right? And he has a little girl. And she's like, we'll just throw it out there. She's 2 years old. It's her second birthday. And for her second birthday, he comes in and he's all happy because he purchased a new vehicle. So he wraps up the keys, puts it in a box, and allows the daughter to open it up. And she opens it up. And she opens up the gift and she looks confused. Because, you know, she's a 2-year-old. She's expecting like toys or a bike or something like that. And he's like, it's a car, you know? It's a car. You know, everyone wants a car. But at 2 years old, you can't drive, right? You're learning. You may not even be walking yet. You know, you might even not be talking at 2. So that story, you know, just goes to show you that everything has a timing in the right place. And what's meant for you will always be. So just remember that. Remember, it will happen when it's meant to be. So we're done that part now. All the feathers have their leather straps on. I'm going to put a little bit more on that one, I think. I think the glue dried a little weird, a little wonky. Donkey. And yeah, so just remember, it'll play out when it's meant to play out. So just pray and have faith. You know, understand that it'll happen the way it's supposed to happen, and if it doesn't happen, it's not meant for you. Just remember that as well. So now that that's re-glued, I'm gonna actually jump over one. It's gonna let that one set. I don't want it to stick to my hand. So now we grab our sinew. I'm just trying to find the end. I haven't used this in a while. Haven't had time to craft much. So man, this end's really gone. I don't know where the heck this end is. It's really gone. Wow. Oh, it's right around here somewhere. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to start a new end, I think. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna start a new end. I'm just going to probably end up showing you how I do one of them. And I might just jump off the podcast after that. Just because I don't want to make it too long for you, right? Wanted to share a little bit of wisdom though, and just, oh man. Oh. Starting a new one. Can that work? Perfect. Nice. So this one actually probably even work, as it might be a little short. But so you grab these. Just sinew. You know, this is sinew comes from the bone. It is a natural product. You know, we used to use sinew on a lot of things. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have, because I want to wrap it that way. So what we're going to do is have a little bit of a tail on the top end, sticking up. And then we're just going to go kind of like a candy cane style. Not all the way. And then when I get to the very end, I'm just going to grab it and I'm going to pinch. I'm just going to tightly wind it around and wind it around and wind it around, and that's gonna pinch all that leather properly into where it's gotta go. And then the other one at that other end, I'll grab it and I'll wrap it a few times the other way, just to make sure it's nice and tight. And boom, you have your two ends. Probably going to try and bring it away from that a little bit, just because I don't want too close to the fluff, because you're going to see something real quickly that I do with sinew. I'm just granny knotting it. Just granny knot, 2 granny knots, really good for feathers. And then what I do is I trim the end off a little bit, so it's sticking up just a tiny bit. I grab my lighter and I light it, and then I tap it and it melts and it stays there. And I grab the other end, move it so it sticks up, cut it, and boom, it's nice and short. So now, and then we mount the other end, and then we tap that in, and boom, got your feather. And then what I'll actually do, I think I will wrap some color on it after, probably not this weekend. I don't know if I'll have time to wrap it this weekend, but we'll see. We'll see what I have done tomorrow, what I have to do tomorrow. But yeah, that's how you wrap your feathers. That's how I wrap them anyways. You know, there might be another way on how to wrap them, but that's just the way I was taught on how to wrap my feather. So I think I'm gonna jump off my podcast now. I know I said I was gonna take the time to talk, but I think I talked enough. So we will tune in next week. Yeah, just remember to keep moving forward, no matter what happens with life. Keep pushing on. Life will always knock you down. Just gotta get back up and keep doing creator's work, right? Keep doing the universe's work. You know, life is just testing you to see how bad you want it, you know. And our friend is a great example, the one that made that dance stick. A wonderful example on never giving up, you know, keep pushing forward no matter what life throws at you. So, Sukini Dagas. We'll tune in next week. Keep looking out for those that YouTube, the vlogs on my my UW trip this weekend. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, everyone. Have a great week, and remember, everything always happens for the right reasons. Take care. Bye.